The story of Alexander from Cuba in a shipping boat that capsized quite suddenly, went down, quote, like a torpedo. A torpedo, after all, we know, is named after a fish that can give an electric shock. The torpedo was a solution for headaches in the ancient world. Stick a torpedo on top of your head and get an electric shock and feel better. But, we've had so many stories of migrants drowning in the last few days. So there was this one in the Caribbean. Alexander swam to safety. He was picked up by a boat. He talks about the waves being as high as mountains. He was hanging on to a wooden box, and he was eventually swimming on his own, entirely on his own, lost. And then we've heard of a Russian ship that picked up 60-odd people from a sailing boat. It's not clear whether they were migrants, not clear where they came from. They were taken to the Greek Coast Guard. And then the harrowing story of the 500 plus souls who were lost on a shipping vessel coming from Libya, intercepted by the Greek Coast Guard and left tottering for hours before it sank, with so many lives lost, 100 children locked below in a hold. And it's simply unimaginable. It doesn't matter whether the Greek authorities have prosecuted 8 or 9 Egyptians who were smuggling these souls. What matters is that the Greek Coast Guard did nothing. They'd been warned by Frontex that this boat was in difficulty, and their response is, it said it wanted to go to Italy. Well, it was in Greek waters, I understand, and the Greek Coast Guard had sent a ship to deliver food. So it knew exactly what was going on. It was playing a game, and I'm afraid this is probably one of the biggest losses of life in a single instance in the Mediterranean that I can think of. And the Greek Coast Guard, and indeed Frontex, are doing what they have done from the very beginning. I remember when Frontex was set up and the Greek Coast Guard was to be a part of that. I thought that was an abhorrent idea, given the fact that the Greek Coast Guard was accused of rape and torture, and indeed of riddling a boat with gunshot. And this is the image that Suella Braverman seems to have adopted as her preferred approach to migration: push back. And this is not the way forward. The way forward is to set out a new way, an international way, an international agreement of dealing with migration. Because where these people are today, we may be tomorrow. We don't know. In our own best interests, it's necessary to assemble this international conference as soon as possible. Because lying behind good, workable laws is good, workable morality. And Suella Braverman has neither morality nor law. She is operating on ideological banner waving, on sloganizing, and it doesn't work in Parliament. It's certainly not going to work internationally. We are going to find ourselves locked in legislation for the next 20 years because of her stupidity.